And we've got our lovely Roxy. Hi, Roxy. But, yeah, it is, let's see, almost 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been up for a couple hours. It doesn't look like it. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. And we're going to hit another gas station so that I can get a decent cup of coffee, other than my home brew. And then we're going to head to West Haven, Vermont, and get some rough cut lumber, because it's usually cheaper than going to Home Depot or Lowe's or La Valleys or anything like that. So I will be showing some video on our way to West Haven, doing this instead of crochet. And I forgot to bring my whip bag. Well, I can't go back home now. So I will see you guys in a few. Figure out, oh, Chris bought me a new camera, that's what I'm using. So, I'm still learning the buttons. Let's see if I can turn you around. You can see, nah, all you'll see is the gas station and some melting snow. Hold on. We'll see what we can see. Okay. That building right down there, let's see if I can get it to zoom in. I don't know where the zoom button, oh, right there. See that big building way down there with the white steeple? I know it's blurry. Sorry. That used to be Green Mountain College. They closed last June, I believe. And some multi-millionaire bought it, was going to make it into an agricultural center, but that hasn't happened. And he wants the town to pay, he doesn't want to pay taxes on it. So, we'll see what they do with it.
He wants tax-exempt status in the property taxes.
Yeah. Anyway, we will see you again shortly. So, we are heading down Route 22, right?
22A.
22A. Heading out of Fairhaven, Vermont. Got some old farmhouses, and this is
That's the Adirondack Mountains on our left there.
Sorry, it's so bumpy. only March.
I got shaved the other day. It's not that scruffy.
Yeah. Gotta turn that heat down. It is 29 degrees. But all of this used to be farmland. And we thought about buying some property out in this area. Here's a nice old house. Well, not old, but this is West Haven.
This is the main drag in West Haven. That's the big school.
Yeah, there's the big school of West Haven. And some of my favorite animals. They didn't have those out there the last time we were here.
They have different pastures that they run them in. In the wintertime, they're in that closest pasture. They don't graze them there, so the grass is nice and thick.
And
it's like these cows don't graze in this pasture during the better months.
Sharp corners. And of course because we have such heavy frost and below zero weather most of the winter, we get what we call frost heaves under the pavement, and it causes the pavement to heave up. Ooh. Sharp corners.
And causes Sherry's belly to go squishy. There's a lot of houses in Vermont that end up looking like this because they sit in probate forever and nothing ever happens with them. And then someone finally gets a hold of the property and starts building, like this gentleman did, greenhouses and stuff on them. And he's using the property, but he doesn't actually live in the house, and there's nothing that can be done with the house. And to build a house in Vermont here is extremely expensive for a couple reasons. Septic systems cost unusual amounts because of the guidelines in Vermont for septic systems are so much higher than a lot of other states. And also, like with replacing buildings, they're making you make them earthquake proof. Of course, the last earthquake we had here was about 15 years ago, and I think it was a 0.5. But you've got to.
We were down in Florida at the time they had a last earthquake.
I said 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That'd be about 15 years ago.
I forget.
Finish your coffee so the math will work.
Yeah.
And
My coffee.
they're making you build buildings to
Stewart's.
West Coast standards in an East Coast area where we are not an earthquake-prone zone, which is quite comical in some manners. I think we have a street sweeper. It's just sort of a sign for a wedding. It's awfully cold for a wedding.
Ooh.
Some little ponies. Here's an interesting house.
Here's an interesting house, he says.
It's a garage on the bottom and a small house on top. It doesn't have a driveway either, so it must be just a spring getaway.
You want to roll her window down?
Yep, I'll roll her window down. I just didn't want the wind noise for the camera.
Well, she's trying to look out the window.
This is the town hall for West Haven.
I mean, there's some beautiful houses out here.
This house is interesting. This house, the entire property is surrounded with cat fencing. Over here, this one with the turret. The entire property is surrounded with cat fencing, so you can keep the cats in the yard. It has these 6 foot tall candy cane things that has netting all the way up them.
Because we have such bad
Wildlife.
fox and coyote and fisher cat, and fisher cat is not a cat. They were brought here from the UK to take care of the skunks and the raccoon and all that, like, you know, normal predators.
But now they attack dogs, cats.
And they will take out your cat, small dogs, chickens, geese, ducks, anything that they can get their nasty little paws on. And some horses.
Chickens too.
Chickens out in the field.
This is that field where I saw that big giant hedgehog.
Yeah.
He was a big boy.
But I mean, I love this area out here. It's so quiet. And your neighbors are far apart. Sorry about the bumping around. Like I said, the frost heavies, as we call them.
Now, the last 3 days have been over 50 degrees. Some of them have actually reached 70. But today, we're back down into the low 20s, or mid-20s, depending on where you are.
Of course, I wanted to get out and clean out the garden beds and work in the chicken coop, and it's cold. And Sherry don't do cold.
So from here forward, about the next couple miles is all belongs to the same family, and this is where we get all our lumber from the Books family. They grow barley, wheat, hemp,
Hay.
corn, hay, straw, and they sugar, as well as do cattle, and they have this big giant home sawmill that they've been running for years.
This is the farm. This is where they keep their cows, and there's cows out there on the field.
Why don't you pause it and we'll make sure it's okay.
Yep. Pause is where?
Just hit the...
On-off button.
some weeds.
Number 2.
Tell them about the YouTube channel.
This right here, these two sets, those are to make garden boxes, so it doesn't have
And
to
this
be
is
clear
his
field.
wonderful,
It can have red in it.
wonderful sawmill.
Yeah.
My uncle had one
Yeah, they probably ought to be hemlock.
that
Well, I've been, with all the
he
stuff,
used to have before he passed.
I've been using it for that, because what I do is
That
just put
was
another box around it and let it decay inside.
Okay.
20, 25 years
So you don't
ago.
really care what that is. That's
Right.
let's see. Okay. For the rest of that, you don't care what that's all, pine or hemlock. Huh?
Right. It's all going to be a greenhouse, and it's going to be covered in plastic, so.
Okay, let's see. You better give me your phone number.
Yeah, I haven't figured you wouldn't have it ready today.
Just last week I started calling orders. You know,
But
tomorrow another.
this is the family farm. But look at all the, I mean, this is down quite a bit. I mean, it's been winter, so he probably hasn't been sawing lumber. But they run, I don't know if you can see the blue line running from the trees. That's what they run the sap through to make maple syrup. And they run cattle for beef. And they also, up behind that house and that barn, they have milk cows. And they have chickens, and I think they have turkeys, or they did last year. But it's beautiful out here and quiet. And there's part of the Adirondacks in the distance there. Right there's the Now we have 5 seasons. We have winter. Let's see, let's start from summer, fall, winter, mud, and spring. It is now mud season. Pardon me. But yeah, I enjoy coming out here. I was never really raised in a city. Chris was kind of more rural. That's one word I can never pronounce. He grew up, and y'all can look it up, Rehoboth, Mass, and down in Rhode Island, near Pawtucket. I believe that's what they call it. I grew up until I was 15 in Wilmington, North Carolina, on the outskirts. Wilmington is now very grown up and cityfied. But these are the logs he gets brought in. kind of glad it was frozen last night. I'd be walking through the mud. But just in case, I wore muck boots. But imagine all the linear feet of all these logs. Some beautiful wood there. But those two white chutes, that blows out the sawdust. And he's got some really nice lumber underneath. Well, I'm going to shut this down for a little bit so I can bring Roxy out. She's whining to come out and see Mr. Books. So I will see you in a few. Let's see if we can get her in the camera. Oh.
I gotta bring you the right piece this time because the last stuff I bought was too long. So I had to cut it and then redo the lip on it.
There she is.
Yeah, I know.
There she is. Okay, I'll be back soon. Let's see, they sell, CBD flour, hemp, hay, lumber, firewood, and sawdust. But they've got their chickens out there. Let's see, Roxy likes to look out the window. She considers the cows big dogs. And I think down at the end of this road.
Well, when you get to the bridge up here, you enter into New York State.
Yep. And there's a llama farm down there, isn't there?
No.
There's a place that had llamas down this way.
That's not llama, it's an alpaca.
Or alpaca, sorry.
There's one alpaca, it's like a lonely alpaca. But once you cross over this bridge, you're in Whitehall, New York.
Birds are enjoying the grass area, getting all the careful of it. And people come down here and throw their garbage.
Well, they come down here and park and drink and fish. The rivers are nice and high right now, and the fish are getting active. Again, even though the water's ice cold because of the sun, they're up on the surface instead of hiding in the bottoms. And this bridge is brand new. They put this in last summer.
Well, we're gonna head back home, so we will see you again shortly.